Moscow says that it's not planning to halt the reset of ties with Washington, but is ready to pull out of the nuclear arms reduction treaty if the U.S. goes ahead with its defense shield plans in Europe. Washington says it will not review its program, despite Russia warning that it could move its own offensive missile systems to its borders in response. RT's Anissa Nawi explains.
Russia's reaction to the active development of plans for this missile defense shield in Eastern Europe came in the form of an announcement from President Medvedev where he highlighted 5 steps that the Russian Federation would take if the US and NATO don't reconsider their plans. First of all, activated immediately will be early radar warning stations in Kaliningrad, which is Russia's most western enclave. The country's nuclear strategic forces will be strengthened significantly. He pointed out that this needs to happen, quote, urgently. The country's strategic missiles will be fitted with advanced penetration systems and latest generation warheads. And he's also notified the armed forces that a system needs to be developed that could destroy data exchange and the control systems of this planned missile defense shield. If these steps are not enough, the president pointed out that this would be Russia's last resort.
If other measures are insufficient, Russia will deploy contemporary strike systems in the west and south in order to prevent fire damage from US missile systems deployed in Europe. The deployment of the Iskander missile system in the Kaliningrad region will be one such step. If the situation develops in an unfavorable way, Russia will reserve the right to cease further steps in the area of disarmament and arms control. Moreover, given the inextricable link between strategic, offensive and defensive weapons, reasons could emerge for Russia's withdrawal from the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. This is envisioned within the content of the treaty.
The president pointed out, once again, emphasizing that he believes dialogue is the way to go and that cooperation is still possible. It's not too late, but promises are just not going to be enough. Russia needs legally binding agreements from NATO and the US that these systems are not meant as a deterrent against them. From the West, a lot of the same rhetoric that Russia has been listening to for years. Again, that this system is meant and aimed against so-called rogue states like Iran and North Korea, that it's not in any way meant against Russia, that they do believe Russia and the West should have separate systems. From representatives from the National Security Council, we heard that cooperation, again, they praised President Medvedev's statement about further cooperation, but also pointed out, and this is very important, that they will continue to cooperate, but that pursuit of cooperation will in no way be limited or change the plans for missile defense shields. And then from Secretary General Rasmussen of NATO, we heard again praise for the statement on dialogue and cooperation, but he's saying that he is disappointed by President Medvedev's statement that it's not in the spirit of Russia-NATO cooperation. But again, if you look at a map, you will see very clearly that NATO is rapidly expanding eastwards on Russia's western border. You have the United States and their bases all throughout the Middle East, and then up Russia's eastern seaboard you have bases in Japan and South Korea. So basically Russia is being surrounded, and it's pretty easy to understand why this is such a major concern for their national security.
And we want to know how you think Russia's warnings over America's missile shield plans will play out. Head over to our website RT.com and cast your vote. Most of you believe it could trigger a new arms race. Opinion is split between those who think the Pentagon's only speeding up deployment and those who say Russia's objections will lead to Europe saying no to the U.S., while the rest of you think Washington will compromise and agree to Moscow's demands. Cast your vote at RT.com.